Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante. Still demonetized by YouTube. Great way to support the show is do what Eric Huso has done over at patreon.com /Graham Elwood. You can support the show, and also at rockfin.com /Graham Elwood. So California Guard members feared fighter jet would be ordered to frighten protesters. So last March, when everything first got shut down, and then going into the summer, especially after the George Floyd was murdered and the protest that happened as a result of that, thank God Chauvin was just found guilty. The California National Guard, and these are like people within the Guard who've talked to the LA Times, were like, yeah, man, we were ramping up to use fighter jets to like quell Americans from exercising their freedom of speech. The members expected directives to ready ground troops to help state and local authorities respond to disturbances triggered by resistance to stay-at-home rules and panic over empty store shelves. Again, this is like right when it all got shut down in March. Which this okay, I get it. The pandemic, everything's shut down. People are emptying store shelves. All right, the National Guard should just be ready in case there's a calamity. Okay, I get that. But then came an unusual order. The air branch of the Guard was told to place an F-15C fighter jet on alert status for a possible domestic mission, according to 4 Guard sources with direct knowledge of this matter. The sources said the order didn't spell out the mission, but given the aircraft's limitations, they understood it to mean the plane could be deployed to terrify and disperse protesters by flying low over them at window-rattling speeds. What? Is it just like from Top Gun? That sounds crazy, right? It's not like, oh, fighter jets have been used occasionally in that manner in combat zones in Iraq and Afghanistan, they said. Well, maybe who are these unknown sources? We don't know who they are. It's the LA Times. Can we trust any of these people? Great question. That's why I went to the United States Department of Defense, where it says, U.S. Air Force pilot abroad, right? Let's read this. Let's all read this together. I went to U.S. Department of Defense website. The U.S. Air Force pilot abroad, an F-15E Strike Eagle, conducts a mission over Afghanistan April 14th, 2008. The F-15 frequently performs show of force to deter enemy activities and protect coalition forces on the ground in Afghanistan and Iraq. So they were going to do this to people protesting. Send an F-15, just freak people out. That's a show of force against American citizens. California National Guard. They said the jet was also placed on an alert status, fueled and ready for takeoff for possible responses to protests over the murder of George Floyd. So they were ramping this thing up when the shutdown first happened, but then when the George Floyd protest started, then they were really getting this thing ready. And to any unrest sparked by the November 3rd presidential election. So they've been ready to use this against American citizens. And we know, look, they've already used it. Oh, they tested it in Iraq and Afghanistan. So says the United States Department of Defense. So the DOD is saying this. So if you have any questions, all these sources are crazy and they're not named sources. So maybe the LA Times is just making this up. No, they're not. Not that I'm some huge LA Times proponent. They're pretty corporate. They're pretty neoliberal. But this backs that up. Right? It would have been completely illegal order that disgraced the military, one source said. It would look like we were threatening civilians. Well, you are, and you have, and you do. So you might want to wake up to that fact if you're in the military or a cop, but especially if you're in the military, if you're in the National Guard. This is the thing that was happening too. When the National Guard got deployed in cities all over America, and I was in Santa Monica, and they got deployed in Los Angeles and Santa Monica, where I live, and you could see the National Guard were like, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't sign up to like threaten American citizens. I joined the Guard to like whatever, help out when there's a flood or, you know, like that's something that would happen in the Soviet Union, said a second of the Times sources who spoke on condition of anonymity because they feared retaliation from their superiors. But you might be like, Graham, I mean, come on, this is just, I mean, that was a one-time, the United States government doesn't use military or, you know, private contractors against its own citizens on American soil. It's not like they did it, you know, at Standing Rock. No, who put that there? In the Mercenary's own words, documents detail TigerSwan's infiltration of Standing Rock. North Dakota private security regulators said a trove of company documents showed TigerSwan denials were willfully false and misleading. I've talked about this before. This came out last fall, but I've talked about this a couple of years ago. We know TigerSwan, which is a private military contractor, was hired to go after protesters at Standing Rock. You know, people who just wanted clean water and didn't want a pipeline to go through, a pipeline which has since broken. We've had pipelines break already. So we've already been doing this to our American citizens. We've already been using federal cops and federal troops, which is what the military is, the National Guard. Those are federal troops. You work for the federal government. Oh, it was like being preyed upon. Portland protesters say federal officers in unmarked vans are detaining them. We were all set to deploy F-15s against American citizens protesting. So be real ready, ladies and gentlemen. Be real ready. And you think, oh, that was just Trump. Gavin Newsom is a Democrat. So Gavin Newsom had to tell the governor tells the National Guard when to be ready and when to not. The National Guard, no state's National Guard is getting a call from the White House. They get a call from the governor. So if you're naive enough to think that this can't happen because now that Joe Biden's in office, well, when everyone was up in arms about federal troops, especially in Portland, targeting and beating the shit out of people, God, I have a family member who saw a federal cop smash out windows and then arrest people who did nothing, who just walked by, like crazy shit. But everyone was like, oh my God, this is Trump. He's doing this to the people of Portland. Kind of, but like, who signed the National Defense Authorization Act, the NDAA, in December of 2011, allowing federal troops to arrest Americans on American soil? Oh, that was Barack Obama and his vice president, Joe Biden. So if the economy collapses, if people can't eat and they start really protesting because they're hungry and the evictions, you know, because the eviction moratorium and the forbearance, the mortgage moratorium, that ends in September. They keep kicking that can down the road. They've not paid off anybody's back rent or anybody's back mortgage. None of these stimulus bills gave the American renter or property owner a goddamn nickel to pay that off. It's what they should have done. They gave it to Wall Street. Believe me, Wall Street made out like bandits during this pandemic. Oh my God. Tax breaks, unforgivable PPP loans. You're a small business owner. If you were lucky to qualify for a PPP loan, you still got to pay a lot of them back. Some of them are forgivable, but the big companies, they got forgivable loans like that. They got free money from the government. You're behind on your rent. Sorry, you're out of luck. Because the Reaper's coming on that one, because that's a plan set up by the banks and the mortgage industry and the, management companies. They did this in the last housing crisis in 2008. They bought up all the people in distressed properties, people who were behind on rent, behind on mortgage, behind, looking for short sales, looking for foreclosures. They swooped in and bought them all up. And that's what they're going to do this time. And so when everybody starts protesting about that, they're going to send an F-15 at you. And you think, oh, well, I live in a blue state, I'm safe. They were going to do it in California. Well, only blue states do that. I've heard Republicans say, oh, there's Democratic states. That's where all the problems were. Oh, really? Is that why the power went out in Texas and people were starving and didn't have water? Because let me tell you something. This summer, when Texas has another hot summer, as it does every summer, and the power grid goes out because Texas did not fix their power outage happened a month and a half, 6 weeks ago. You think they fixed that in 6 weeks? Nope. You're hungry in Texas. You're pissed off. You go protest. Your Republican governor and your Republican state legislature. Oh, they're going to send an F-15 at you. They're going to deploy an F-15 against you. And you think you're safe because you're in a red state? You're not. You think you're safe because you're in a blue state? Oh, that's just crazy California. We're fine. No, you're not. This is the American empire. This is what empires do. And if you're drinking this Kool-Aid that your state or your party is better than the other one and you're better, you're wrong. They have targeted and will target all of us. And if everybody starts rising up because they're hungry, imagine if those 3-hour waits for food lines during the pandemic people got angry. They're going to come at you, man. They're going to come at you. So this delusion that this one party is better than the other is a delusion. It happened under Trump. It'll happen under Biden. Look, hey man, look, just past week or so in Minneapolis, Dante Wright was killed again, another cop. And how did the cops respond? During the Chauvin trial, they show up armed to the teeth. And yet no one was armed to the teeth really on January 6th when the Capitol was overrun. Weird. It's almost like they wanted that to happen. And more than likely, they really want us to just fight with each other. And then they stand on the sidelines. So that's life in the greatest country in the world, America. No, we're not. No, we're not. We're ready to deploy an F-15 against people that were protesting. And there's going to be more protests. And some of them are going to be about people getting evicted or, foreclosing on their homes. And the sheriff's going to show up. And people are going to say, no, we're not leaving. And then what? And then they're going to buzz you and your friends and family protesting to just keep someone in their home. They're going to buzz your protest with an F-15. Is that the country you want to live in? Is that the country you want? You think is so great? There's another reason we shouldn't be spending all this money on military, because it's going to be used against us. All the tactics we've used overseas, we will be using and have using in our plan and are ready to use against our own citizens. So thanks for supporting the show, everybody. Follow the money, connect the dots, find the truth. That's why we spend all this money on military, so we can use it against our own citizens. And what is the Air National Guard, California National Guard, the Texas National Guard, the Georgia National Guard, and the Illinois and whatever state, blah, blah, blah. Just like the police, who do they protect and serve? The ruling elites. They do not protect and serve us. There's no footage of any cop putting their knee on the neck of a billionaire. When Wall Street got $4.25 trillion in the first CARES Act in 2020, any riots, any protests, all the criminal bankers, any of them get shot in the back 7 times because they wouldn't obey a command? No, they get a free pass. They get a free pass because they're the ruling elites. And that's who the police and the military work for. Not you and I. It's not for justice. It's not for freedom. It's not for democracy. It's to protect the ruling class's power. Never forget that. Fox News is bullshit. MSNBC's bullshit. CNN's bullshit. The Democrats are bullshit. The Republicans are bullshit. It's all bullshit. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen, so that I can keep bringing you the truth like this. Boom. Shave your knuckles for justice. Pow. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please hit the like button, the subscribe button. Go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood and rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, where you can support the show. Also, I have a Bitcoin wallet, a Bitcoin Cash wallet, and an Ethereum wallet in the show notes. We're taking cryptocurrency. I have a Coinbase affiliation link. We're going to be getting on some other exchanges. So that's how you support the show. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. YouTube is unsubscribing us at an alarming rate. I have a PayPal button at GrahamElwood.com. I even have a Venmo at Graham-Elwood. There's a lot of ways to support our show. We are getting crushed by YouTube. We've dipped under 73,000 subscribers because of YouTube. Thanks for supporting what we do.